Hey everyone, and welcome back to the RPG Framework tutorial series. In the last episode, we set up motion matching in Unreal Engine and integrated it into our RPG framework. Today, we're taking things further by adding combat locomotion animations to the motion matching system. By the end of this tutorial, you'll have a character that not only moves smoothly but also dynamically transitions into combat stances and movements using motion matching. Let's dive right in. Navigate to the player blueprint. First, we will replace Fortnite Mannequin with Unreal Engine default Mannequin. Add new skeletal mesh component under the existing character mesh. Select SKM, Manny for skeletal mesh asset. Now go to Sword and Shield Animations folder. Right-click on one of the animations and open Retargeting tool. For source, select Fortnite Mannequin. For target, select SKM, Manny. Click on Export Retarget Assets button. Navigate to some content folder to save this assets. I will create new one at the location where other mannequin assets are. Once export is done, you should have this 3 assets. Rename IK Retargeter to RTG, Manny to UEFN. Now go and find generic retarget animation blueprint we have migrated from game animation sample project in last video. Open it. Find IK retargeter map variable. Add new element. Select IK retargeter we have created before. For key, you can enter RTG, Manny to UEFN. Now go back to player blueprint. Select this generic retarget for animation blueprint. Select skeletal mesh we added and add new tag to it. Tag value must be the same like the name of the key in IK retargeter from animation blueprint. RTG, Manny to UEFN in our case. Now select character mesh and disable its visibility. Also make sure to set visibility based anim tick to always tick pose and refresh bones. Now play it. You should see only Unreal Engine mannequin. Here you can notice that hand's position is not correct when character performs climb animations. To fix this, go to Manny to UENF retargeter. Make sure that IK phase is checked too. Now you can test this. Hand's position should be correct. Let's attach weapons to correct mesh. Go to Equip Weapons function in Player Blueprint. Find and replace old mesh with skeletal mesh we added before. You have this on 2 places, one for sword and one for shield. And that's it. We have attached weapons to character hands. Now we will add animations for movement with equipped sword and shield using motion matching. First, create new Boolean variable in player character. Name it, is armed. For now we will set it to true right after attaching sword to socket and equip weapons function. Later we will add abilities to draw and return weapons. We can move as armed variable to parent class since we will need it in other characters too. Now open Sandbox Character Animation Blueprint. Here we will take isArmed variable from Sandbox Character Instance and save it to new variable. Late we will use it in Chooser table. Now open Retarget tool and retarget all sword and shield animations to Fortnite mannequin. Save them in some new folder. Since there are a lot of animations, I will reorganize them in subfolders. Create folder with name, Idols. Move all idle animations to it. Then create folder with name, Walks. Move all walk animations and this strafe and strafe 2 animations to it. Create new folder, name it, runs. Move all run animations and strafe 3 and strafe 4 to it. Now we need to create walk and run start animations. To do this we will just duplicate existing walk and run animations. Create folder with name, run starts. And copy all animations from run folder to it. Do the same with walk animations. Now let's configure those animations for motion matching. First open folder with idle animations. Select all animations and open them in Property Matrix Editor. First make sure that all animations have loop enabled. Then enable root motion with force root lock on all animations. Now repeat this for all animations in runs folder. For animations in run starts folder, first add suffix, start. This will help us to easier recognize them later. Then ensure that loop is disabled on all. Root motion should be enabled with root lock checked. For the animations in walks folder, do the same like for run animations. Enable looping and root motion with force root lock. For walk starts animation, repeat the same like for run starts. Looping should be disabled and root motion enabled with root lock. Now go to Motion Matching Data folder. Open Databases folder. Create new subfolder. Name it Sword and Shield. Here we will create pose search databases for sword and shield animations. Create new pose search database. Select default schema. Name it P, S, D, Sword and Shield, Idle, Loops. Here we will use only one loop animation. You can select this one. Create new pose search database for walk start animations. Here drag and drop all animations from walk starts folder. Repeat this for all other animations. Walk loops, run starts, and run loops. Now we need to add animations for turn and place. Create new folder. Name it Turns. Move all turn animations to it. As before, ensure that looping is disabled and root motion is enabled on all animations. Go back to folder with pose search databases and create new one for turns. Open it and add all turn animations to it except second one. Now open Run Starts database and add all turn animations except first one to it. For walk starts, add all except second animation. Now we have pose search databases ready. We can move to chooser table. Go to motion matching data folder. Create new chooser table. Name it CHT Sword and Shield. Open it. Add new element to context data. Select Context Object Type Class. For class, select Sandbox Character Animation Blueprint. For output type, select Pose Search Database. Now add new enum column and bind it to movement mode enum property. Add new column and bind it for stance. Add columns for movement state and gait. Now add new row. Select nested chooser for type. Then create new nested chooser. Name it Stand Idles. Add 2 rows more for stand walks and stand runs. Then you should configure table like this. Now let's start configuring nested choosers. First, click on Edit next to Stand Idles row. Here, add new row of type asset. Select Sword and Shield Idle Loops Pose Search Database. Add new row and select sword and shield and place turns database. Add one column of type boolean and bind it to should turn in place variable. Configure it like this. Go back to parent table. Open stand walks. Add rows for sword and shield walk starts and walk loops databases. Add one boolean column and bind it to is starting variable. Configure it like this. Repeat the same process for stand runs nested chooser. Now with all this configured, go back to Motion Matching Data folder. Open Pose Search Databases Chooser table. Add new boolean column and bind it to is armed variable. Add new row. Select Evaluate Chooser and select Sword and Shield Chooser table. Configure row like this. Now let's test this. First thing we can notice is that idle animation is strange. But run and walk animations are playing correctly. Also, when you stop the game you will receive this error. It says that there is no database provided for motion matching. This is because we do not provide database for jump state when character is armed. Let's first fix the issue with idle animation. Go to Sword and Shield Idle Loops database. Replace this animation with idle for animation. Previous one already had some head movement, and head movement is also controlled by additive animations from Sandbox Character Animation Blueprint. Also, you should change root motion root lock to anim first frame. It is because this animation has some minor offset in root bone. Now when you play, idle animation should play correctly. Now, let's fix this error with missing database for jump state. Go to Sword and Shield Chooser table. Create new row of type nested chooser. Name it jumps and configure like this. Here we can use jump databases that are already part of motion matching sample. Add one column of type float. Bind it to time to land property under the trajectory collision. Add another column of type Boolean. Bind it to just traversed variable. Add 3 rows for jumps, jumps far and jumps from traversal databases. Configure table like this. Save it and play. Now all the animations are working. We can also jump with weapons equipped. Also, attack animations are playing correctly although we didn't retarget them. However, it is better to retarget them too. That's it for today's tutorial. We've successfully set up combat animations with motion matching in our RPG framework. In the next video, we'll be returning back to Melee Combat AI. Make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss it.